What's up, people? In this video, we're going to watch this, Why Cold Approach is a Cheat Code by Todd V. I'm a fan of Todd V. Signed up for his pickup coaching, haven't paid it off yet, haven't started doing it yet. I'm not being paid to do this video. I tried to work out some sort of deal where I would do review videos of his as I have been doing of other YouTubers in exchange for subsidized program in some way. Haven't heard back from them. That's not what this is. But I'm going to do it anyway because these are videos that I would actually watch. So without further ado.
Hey, what's up? It's Todd coming to you from Budapest, Hungary. It's actually 2 a.m. Saturday night. I want to talk to you about something that is absolutely near.
Sorry. Gonna speed this up a little bit. Yeah, here we go.
Near and dear to my heart, which is cold approach and why it is a cheat code to game. It's literally something evolution was never designed to allow, and it is an unfair advantage for you in your dating life. It has been that way for me for 18 years. I've gotten results that are way beyond what I possibly deserve as a man, and it can be that way for you as well. I'm gonna show you how and talk to you about that in this video. So check that out right now. So I'd like to start this video off with a little story. See, last week we did London immersion program, and I had a student on that program, who by the way was an Indian guy, and I mentioned that because I get a lot of guys coming to my program, they're Indian or Asian, that think their ethnicity is holding them back. So this was an Indian guy. Coming to the program, he slept with 7 girls in his lifetime. On the program, which is a 7-day program, he slept with 5 different girls. So out of 30 years of doing things the normal way, he slept with 7 girls. On the 7-day program, he slept with 5 different girls. And I saw some of these girls, they were quite cute as well. So he really stepped it up and really just basically changed his life with women by implementing cold approach, and implementing cold approach the right way, obviously with some good guidance. But the point is, his whole life he's been doing things one way, which is the normal way. He did it through this cheat code for 1 week and immediately got insane results. Now, does everybody get that big results that quickly? No, not necessarily. But the point is cold approach is a cheat code and is a tremendous advantage. In fact, it's not what evolution was meant to have you do. So in order to understand that, let's look at attraction and where it comes from, right? So attraction triggers in women basically come from what would have been good survival and reproduction traits.
All right, so before we get into that, this is kind of like, why do companies still hire telemarketers, right? Why are there still telemarketers who will call you and try and sell you stuff over the phone, right? That's also technically a cheat code. Why are there still door-to-door salespeople who make a lot of money? Why does that still exist? Because approaching somebody with an intention to convince them to take an action that you want that will directly benefit you is in and of itself is a type of cheat code. Okay, in this case, that skill, let's call it, is being used for the purpose of, approaching a man approaching a woman for the goal of sleeping with her, right? In sales, it's a salesperson approaching a potential customer for the purpose of an exchange in resources, right? Customer gives money, salesperson gives, whatever it is, right? But, and again, this is a video about pickup, fine, but those of you who have a business or who have any goal that you want, action is a cheat code, straight up. There's no substitute. You want to sell something, you want to accomplish something, why don't you make 20 calls or make 100 calls to people who might actually want to buy that or might be able to help you? You'd be surprised.
In men, basically in the environment in which we evolved, which is something between 10,000 to 10 million years ago over time, right? So girls are looking for particular traits in guys that make sense in that environment. And that's an environment where we lived in small little social groups, right? And in that environment, you can't be anything you're not, right? Everybody you know has known you since you're 2 years old, or actually since you're 0 years old. They've known you your whole life. They've known every time you wet the bed, every time you messed up on a hunt, every time you fucked up anything in the tribe, right? You can't be someone you're not, right? Everybody knows who the chief is. Everybody knows who, the kid that was picked on as a kid is. And so you can't really convey yourself as something you're not. In fact, if you try to be all confident and uppity and you're not that person, you probably get punched in the face or exiled from the tribe. However, we do not live in that environment anymore. We live in an environment, a world of 7 billion people, where everybody is essentially a stranger. And now, when you walk up to a girl, you can be anybody you want to be. You walk up to a girl randomly on the street today, she doesn't know that you wet the bed when you were 12 years old. She doesn't know that you were picked on in high school. She doesn't know that you had terrible acne. She doesn't know that you were a virgin until you're 25. She doesn't know any of this shit. All she knows is there's a guy walking up to her right now that is displaying confident mannerisms and approaching in a way that is attractive, and she will get attracted by that. And in fact, it's specifically the cues from that evolutionary environment that you would have had to have been someone to have pulled off that behavior in that evolutionary environment that is helping you, okay? So you literally can be anyone you want with any given girl. It doesn't matter how your last approach went. It doesn't matter how your entire life up to that point went. If you know how to do a cold approach with any kind of reasonable skill at all, you are automatically an alpha male to her. You are automatically sexy to her, and you can turn it on in the blink of an eye. The other great thing about being in this tribe of 7 billion people is that in this tribe, there are 3.5 billion women. That's a lot of fucking women, right? That means you are never going to run out of women. You can always go find a new...
Okay, so that's a very good point. And when he was talking about that, I couldn't help thinking of sales again, right? And generally, this advice is given to salespeople, kiosk sales specifically, but in any real sales environment. The customer doesn't know how your last pitch went. Okay, they don't know. You might have closed the biggest deal in the world, or the last 20 pitches that you did might have ended in 0 sales. The customer doesn't know that. Okay, they don't know anything about your product generally. They don't know anything about you. They don't know anything about anything. We're talking about a cold approach or a cold call or a cold email or whatever. So when you have that concept in mind, you have to understand that like these people, they don't bring your baggage with you, right? Like if let's take sales again for an example. Like when I was doing kiosk sales, right? Let's say you start the day at 9:30 in the morning. Generally make your first sale by around 11, 12 maybe. You're expected to be on the board, right? Or I would expect that from myself at least. Probably done 5, 6, 7 demos by that time maybe. Out of one of those, somebody's going to buy something, right? Hopefully one of the main products we were selling. But if not, you have to like maintain your composure, continue to work as though somebody had purchased from you, because to the customer, the future potential customer that you will have, they don't know that like you haven't sold anything all morning. They don't know that you didn't sell anything yesterday. They didn't know that you're coming off your worst month in your history of your sales career. They don't know that. They might be able to tell or think they can tell from your mannerisms whether or not you're successful. Like I would often get comments such as like, how many of these have you sold today, right? Which could be taken either way. It could be like, wow, you're so bad at this. Have you actually sold anything today? And that's a different question, right? Or it could mean, wow, you're really good at this. You definitely know what you're doing. How many of these have you sold today? You understand? You have to kind of interpret that on the spot. And in pickup, not like I have so much experience with pickup, but like girls will say things like, oh my God, you're such a player. I'll bet you say this to all the girls, right? Because in their mind, they're imagining that the way that you are, as you are presenting yourself to them during your first impression, is the way that you have always been in the past. They don't know. They don't know you're awkward and shy and like a total loser, for example, but in the past 30 seconds or a minute or 5 minutes or 20 minutes, you've been confident and upbeat and outgoing and friendly and like sexually attractive. They don't know that. They think you're always like that, right? So, yeah.
Incredible hot girl to cold approach at any time in your life, right? And this is in stark contrast to guys that have a social circle type game or guys that meet girls through their work or through friends of friends, that kind of stuff, right? Let's say you have to meet girls through your work and you work in an environment where there may be 50 women. Well, that gives you a dating pool of 50. Doing cold approach gives you a dating pool of 3.5 billion. It almost doesn't matter how good you are with 50. Even someone who's mediocre and just talking to 3.5 billion is going to do better than you. It's just flat out a fact, right? It's just such a bigger pool to draw from, you almost can't do worse, right? So a guy, even if he's pretty awful at cold approach, but he's just willing to do the approaches, willing to put himself in front of a lot of girls, just on sheer numbers, just on sheer volume of approach, is gonna do better than even like the most attractive guys in social circles, right? In terms of quality as well, but especially in terms of quantity, right? It's such a huge advantage. It's such a huge difference in your life to have all of that available to you. I mean, as an example, look at me, right? I'm a pretty normal average guy in a lot of ways. I'm like 5'7", I'm maybe slightly better than average looking, maybe at a stretch. I'm in okay shape, not even that great a shape. I'm pretty like pasty white skin. There's nothing really that special about me. If I have one advantage, maybe I'm a little bit smart, maybe, right? But I'm pretty much your average ass guy. And I have been with hundreds and hundreds of women, including models, actresses, super hot successful women, athletes, whatever your type is, whatever you consider a hot girl, I pretty much had that. Going back to history, that's the dating life of a fucking Roman emperor, right? That's the dating life, not quite of Genghis Khan. Genghis Khan beat me a little bit, right? But pretty much like the conquerors and emperors of the world, the kings of antiquity, had the dating life that I have. And who am I? I'm just some dude. I'm just some dude. I have the dating life of kings. Why? Because when I was 18 years old, I decided to start walking up to girls and trying some shit. And I wasn't amazing at it at first. I was pretty shitty at it. But even being pretty shitty at it, I started getting dates. I started getting phone numbers. Not on a high percentage, but I started getting more dates and phone numbers than even the most attractive, coolest guys in fraternities in my college. Right? Think about that. Think about that.
Okay, very important point. Very important point. All of you like red pill, black pill, looks and money guys out there, like, and fine. This is not taking things like Tinder into consideration, but if you actually spend several hours a day going out and talking to people and pitching them on your idea, which essentially is like having casual sex with you or a relationship or whatever, statistically speaking, some of them will say yes, right? Some of them will actually say yes. Like there's an old quote that says like if you ask 100 women if they want to have sex with you, one will say yes. But that's just like if you straight up ask them like, hi, would you like to have sex with me? Like 1 out of 100 will say yes. I don't know, like Jimmy Kimmel did a skit on it a long time ago. I don't know if it's really accurate, but like obviously there's smarter ways to do it. And this guy, like I said, 5'7", pasty skin, not in that great a shape. Like he said he's slightly more intelligent than your average person. I think that happens to be the case as well for him. But like he said, he has the dating life and the sex life of somebody, a human being who in the past would have to be a king or the equivalent of that, to have sex with hundreds of women who are of top tier quality, whether or not you believe that. Maybe you believe it, maybe you don't. Not to mention the fact that if you are going out on a regular basis, if you are doing approaches on a regular basis, you are going to get better and better at it. Just like if you spend several hours per day doing anything, you are going to get better and better at it as time goes on. So like really, I think all this like looks and money stuff is to just excuse your fear of trying. Really, like, why don't you just try? Why don't you try it this way for a week or a month? You know, you tried it your way, being angry on the internet about like why like guys who have looks and money are doing better than you know, can sleep with girls that you can. Why don't you try it like this? You just try going out every night for a month. I want to do a 30-day challenge. I'll tell you honestly, what stops me about going out regularly is like, it's hard for me to stay up late currently. Like I'm in a routine where I wake up every day between 6:30 and 7:30 every single day. I'm like up, I'm awake, you know, and by the time 11 o'clock rolls around, I'm like, honestly, I'm in bed by like 10:30 every night. You know, I'm ready to go to sleep because I know that I have another day. I've got to get up early. But really, you know, night game is the best place to practice, because during the day you have to like look for the girls. You have to like look for one. You're like, where's the next attractive or semi-attractive girl that I can talk to, right? Unless you go to the mall or something where they're all, or more of them are in one place. But at night, you go to a club, and the club brings them all there for you, you know, or a bar or whatever. You go from one, you go to another, like they're all in the same place, you know?
About that. They were cooler than me. They were more attractive than me. They had been late before. I was a virgin at the time, but I was getting more phone numbers, more dates, more opportunities with girls by orders of magnitude than they were, simply because I was willing to approach. Never mind as I started to learn and get good at cold approach and figure out how to actually have, you know, reasonable percentages. Oh my God, like the world is your oyster once you get to that level. So think about that. Think about that, right? If you look at like life and evolution, and you could say that, you know, the whole purpose of evolution and genetics is to, you know, have sex, get your genes in the next generation, you basically are cheating the entire system. You basically are having the life that is orders of magnitude better than you're supposed to have, that is a success beyond anything that should possibly have ever been attainable to you in any way, shape, or form. That's pretty crazy to think about. Despite everything I've just said, what I hear from a lot of guys and what you may be thinking as well is, but Todd, it's just not that easy. It's a little bit hard for me. And it's true, at the beginning when you're not very good at it, it is a little bit hard. And in a minute, I'm gonna talk to you about what I did at the beginning that made it much, much easier for me and will probably work for you as well. But before that, I wanna give you a little bit of perspective on that. So yeah, it's not the easiest thing in the world. However, if you look at what you're doing here in the grand scheme of things, right? Again, on an evolutionary level, literally having sex with girls and getting your genes in the next generation is something that every single man on the planet is biologically, they're programmed to compete at that. You're literally competing in the toughest, most widely played game in the entire world. And you have a cheat code to actually get you there. Let's look at the alternatives. What are the alternatives to this cheat code if you want to sleep with a lot of girls? Become rich and famous? You think that's easy? That's orders of magnitude harder than learning to walk up to girls. So the point I'm making to you is, yes, it's not like, you know, 2 + 2 is 4 easy, but compared to every single alternative that can get you similar results, it is orders of magnitude easy. Okay? It's much, much, much easier than those other options. So if it's not easy, it's easier. However, how can you actually make it easy? What is going on in this plan?
I think I know what he's going to say. He's going to say like find a group of people or find other people who are also going out and find somebody to learn from. And by the way, sign up for my 90-day coaching program. I think that's where this is going, which I think deservedly so. Like there's a reason I have given some of my extremely scarce savings to this person and this organization in exchange for future help in this area, because I like how he communicates, and I really honestly believe that with his help or his coach's help or whatever, doing what they tell me to do, that I will be able to like get over this bullshit in my mind and you know, improve my game by a lot. It's worth it. The money is worth it to me. That said, you know, looks and money people out there, like how do you expect things to go for you if you don't work on your game, really? I'm not saying game is like this magical solution that will solve all your problems, no, but it might be the best solution that you have, really. Like again, what do you think is easier? Okay, let's think of this for a second. What do you think is easier? Getting rich and making a lot of money, to the point where you can essentially spoil girls into a relationship, right? Take them to dinner, take them on a jet, like private jet to whatever, not that you have to even do all that, fine, but like buy them things, take them to dinner, spoil them, and financially provide for them as they, you know, as a way of getting them into bed. Or going up and talking to a lot of them over the course of a few months and getting your verbal game to the point where they just like you as a person and decide to sleep with you because of that. What's harder? I think the second one, I think the first one is harder, for sure. Clearly, I don't have a lot of money anyway. Let's talk like fitness. I think fitness is one of the things that's actually easy, but just because you are fit and in shape as a guy does not mean that you will get girls. You still have to talk to them somehow. Okay, fine, there's Tinder. Like, I don't have a lot of luck on Tinder, straight up. Like, I really don't. I don't know why. You know, I got some good pictures on there, I think, but maybe I don't, you know? But getting in shape is easy, but does that mean you will get girls? Not really. getting rich and famous, or getting famous, like that's also not easy. Like, good luck, you know? Okay, let's hear what the cheat code of the cheat code is.
Process where guys struggle with it. Basically, here's what happens, okay? You start out, if you're like a total beginner, you start out maybe at this level in game, right? And maybe the threshold for getting sex is like this level. What happens is, you're probably improving, right? You improve from here to here, you improve from here to here. But if you're measuring yourself against the standard of sex, a move from here to here, increase your sex by 0. Move from here to here, increase your sex by 0, right? And so it's very easy to get discouraged. And this is what I actually see. It's so shocking to me. So many guys, as they're getting better and better and better, and they're just reaching that level where they're almost over the hump, they're almost ready to get there, right? They're this close to getting it, and they get frustrated because like, oh, I've been trying and I'm still not having sex. What they don't realize is they've gotten much closer. And what they should be looking at is redefining their short-term goals a little bit so they actually become measurable and they see success. Here's what I mean by that. When I first started out, I had trouble even talking to a girl. And so I wasn't measuring like, did I have sex or not? I was measuring, I was terrified to talk to a girl and couldn't start a conversation, and now I can have a 20-second conversation. Massive victory. I'm so proud of myself. And then once I could do that, then I was saying like, okay, cool, now I can have a minute conversation. And then now I can ask for a number without like shitting my pants. And now I can actually get some numbers. Now I can actually get some dates. And so every step along the way, I was setting a goal that's measurable to me and where I see success occasionally. So instead of having this thing where it's like, I'm here, the threshold is here, and I'm seeing failure, 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 what I was seeing is success at getting a conversation, success at getting a longer conversation, success at getting a phone number. And each and every one of those was encouraging to me. And each and every one of those told me I was on the right path. So many guys are going out, and because they're evaluating themselves against, did I have sex or not? It's a very binary thing. They're just saying failure, 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 as opposed to reasonable goals where they see success, success, success. That's important in terms of just you logically staying the course and seeing that there is, light at the end of the tunnel. It's also important biologically, because when you succeed as a man, as a human being, your body floods itself with chemicals that tell you success is possible, and tell you you're more alpha, and tell you you're more capable next time. And the more alpha and successful you appear, the more your next approach is going to be done with confidence, and the more you're going to start stepping into that role of alpha male. And it's actually this beautiful feedback process. So what I'm suggesting to you is this: whatever level you're at, you want to set goals that you can actually hit as often or more often than not. They should be a challenge to you. They shouldn't be so easy they're boring, but they should be goals where you can see measurable success and measurable progress, because that's what's going to keep you going. If you're seeing measurable improvement and measurable results, now you're going to stay with it, and that's really the biggest thing. If you have the right process and attitude and you stay with it, you will get there eventually.
Okay, so this is known or similar to the Kaizen approach, which is the Japanese concept of getting 1% better every day. This is also getting 1% better every day, but having a specific measurable way of determining if you are actually getting better by are you accomplishing a task that is mildly challenging to you, more challenging than what you did yesterday, not impossible, but able for you to like bridge that gap, right? And this is what appeals to me with learning pickup specifically through his program, is because there is a like roadmap for you to follow, right? And like this is something I've tried to implement on my own. Like obviously it's always easier when you have an actual live coach and you've paid your own money to like have the additional leverage over you of like actually doing it. But even just on my own, like, a couple days ago, I was like, okay, I'm going to do 5 approaches today, somehow, right? And I went and I approached some girls at the gym, talked to some girls on the street, and that was it. I did my 5 approaches. And that's like, and before that, I was like, okay, I'm going to do 1 approach, right? And just say hello, right, to people on the street. And that was more than what I had been doing, right? And every day you just get a little bit better and a little bit better. The challenge, I guess, is continuing to stick with it, even though you have not seen, like he said, that measurable or that benchmark of success that you originally thought, like in this case sex, right? Like if I had looked at those interactions that I had and said like, well, I didn't have sex with those girls, so I'm a failure. Ugh, and I feel bad now, like, oh shit, I suck. That's a different feeling than me getting excited about like, oh my God, I just did 5 approaches today. Wow, that's a huge step for me. Maybe not a huge step, but it's an improvement for me, for sure. And this is something that you'll notice about a lot of career pickup people, is they will always say like, anytime that like when I was starting out with pickup, I would, anytime a girl would actually like acknowledge my existence, I saw it as a good thing. I was like, oh my God, I just actually had a conversation with the girl. It was 10 seconds or a minute or 5 minutes or whatever. Wow, incredible. I never thought that was possible, right? Like, I feel like a lot of time these days people have this idea of like, it's either sex or nothing. Like, did you bang her? Like that's like what guys ask each other, without really delving into the like little details of like, how did it go? How did the approach go? Did she seem like she was attracted to you? Did she feel comfortable around you? Like there's much more, it's more nuanced, but they don't think of it in a nuanced way. We don't think of it in a nuanced way. It's like, did you accomplish your mission? Yes or no, right?
Now, if you want to get there faster, obviously you want to add in skill, add in good coaching, have a system, that sort of a thing. But the biggest thing is that you stay the course, you stay encouraged, and you keep going towards that end result that is inevitable. And if you are seeing improvements, right? If you are seeing improvement, you're on the right path, and every week, every month, you are considerably better than you were the last week or the last month, that makes it a much easier path to stick. So changing your attitude and outlook will make a massive difference in how hard it appears. The other thing I would tell you in terms of it appearing hard is give yourself a reasonable timeline. Give yourself a reasonable timeline. If you're a guy in your 20s, 30s, even 40s, if it takes you a couple years to get good at this, you have the whole rest of your life to have the most insane sex life ever. And it should not take you years. It should take you months, but or even shorter if you're doing it really the right way. But even if it did take you years, then you have the entire rest of your life to have a great sex life, right? Those guys go to medical school for 6 years for the hope of maybe, someone will be impressed and it'll work out with a few girls here and there. You, in a matter of months to maybe a year or two, can have the abundant sex life of a fucking feudal king if you just stay the fucking course. All right, so yeah, it's a little hard at first, but compared to the alternatives, it's fucking easy. And if you set up the right goals, you're gonna see success along the way. You're gonna see the light at the end of the tunnel, and you should be encouraged every step of the way. That's what I did as I was learning. I wasn't that good at first. I was really, really bad, but I saw a victory there. I saw progress, and that made me stay with it. And it made it fun for me, right? When you're winning, when you're seeing success, it makes it fun for you, and it makes you want to stay the course. So that's absolutely critically important. And then again, obviously, get good coaching, get a system, those kind of things where you are cutting years off your learning curve. That's absolutely important as well. But if all you did was stay the course, at least you get there fucking eventually. All right. So I just want to encourage you. Number one, understand what cold approach is, understand the possibility, and understand you're so lucky to have this available to you, and especially to be in a world where not only is it available, but you have all these resources to teach you it and make you learn it faster. And then secondly, have some perspective. Understand you don't have to be amazing next week. You just have to be 5% better than your previous self next week.
Okay. Also, very, very good points. What I thought was funny that he said was like people will go to medical school for 6 years. I don't know. I thought it was longer medical school. I guess with all your like residency and stuff like that, like excluding your undergrad or whatever, 6 years, 10 years total, right? To become a doctor. I don't really know. But people like think about it. Why do we do anything as men? Like why do we work out? Why do we eat healthy? Why do we go get that job? Like it's to get laid, really. Like you can deny that if you want. You can say, oh no, it's for this, for that. But really, like I think if you look at it if you take a cold hard look at it and you look at it practically, we're doing all these things so that we will appear more attractive to the opposite sex, so that we can actually have sex, which to us maybe just seems like some pleasurable, fun thing for us to do. But you could make the argument that evolution has wired us in a way that it appeals to us so strongly because the previous members of the human race to whom it appealed too strongly, those are the ones who are more likely to be competitive in the dating game or the mating game as it was, and pass on their genes, right? So bottom line, like we do everything that we do anyway to get laid and have sex. So like, why work on all of these peripheral things that are not necessarily going to get you closer to what you want? Why not just suck it up and work on the one thing that is actually going to help you get better at game, which is working on your game, right? Meanwhile, I say this, like, I don't actually go out and approach that often. Although the more videos that I do about pickup, the more that I'm beginning to think that I should spend less time working on other things and more time working on my game. Specifically, sorry, potential future viewers of mine, but like this YouTube channel, right? Like I spend, I don't know if I mentioned this in this video, but I will spend 5 to 6 hours a day on these videos, either recording them or editing them, well, you know, uploading them, adding the thumbnails, descriptions, whatever. I spend a lot of time on this. It requires a lot of my energy to the point where like basically my day is like wake up, do all these videos, go work out, or you know, edit them, whatever, go work out, and then eat, and then that's it, I go to bed, right? I'm thinking that now I need to like rearrange my schedule, bank a lot of videos, probably only release one video per day for like, you know, take a month or two and just crank out videos, release 1 or 2 per day for the next like 8 months after banking them, and take the time that I would spend on these videos in this channel and spend that on my game, probably get an actual job to support myself, sadly. Anyway, I found this very interesting, maybe overdoing it a little bit with the Todd V videos, but I like it. Did you like it? What do you think about cold approach pickup? What is your opinion on that if you are a man? Is it fake? Does it not work? Is it BS? If you're a girl, how do you feel when a guy approaches you on the street or in a club? What do you look at? I mean, we don't really take your opinion seriously on this channel, just kidding, but not really, kind of, sort of. But tell me anyway, how do you feel when a guy approaches you? Like, when is a time where a guy approached you and you felt good about him approaching and you enjoyed yourself and it was a positive experience? Because we know about the negative ones. Tell us about a positive one, if there have been any. Anyway, if you guys have any other recommendations for videos or YouTubers, let me know. Peace.